Okay, so as I was saying, we have to continue with the verbs of deduction. Oh, of course, we started and I only told you about them in the present. So now we need to talk about them in the past. And yeah, that's what we are going to do. And we are going to focus on the past mostly because I think that those are more complicated. And also they are the ones that we haven't practiced before. So yeah, it is something that we need to pay attention to, although we are still going to review a little bit the present modals, right? So let me start by sharing last class document. So we can continue where we left off. Let me go there. By the way, this document is in your folders already, so you can look them up and yeah, you can have the notes there. So last class, we were talking about the models of deduction. And we were talking about can, might, could, and can't. All right, so there are some examples with them. And then we had a look at the grammar explanation. Let's read the examples and then we are going to have a look at the grammar explanation so you can remember what they are about. So the first one is that must be the main entrance. I can see people queuing to get in. Remember that queuing is a British word that means to stand in a line. I think that in America they say make a line or something like that. But yeah, in British English they say queue. So this is a verb. People queuing. I've lost my keys. My keys, they might be at work or they could be in the car. Right? So here we are using might and could in the same sentence. And finally, we have you can't be bored already. You've only been here 5 minutes, right? So yeah, we are using the different models in different situations. Now let's have a look at the grammar explanation. We can use modal verbs for deduction, guessing if something is true, using the available information. The modal verb we choose shows how certain we are about the possibility. This page focuses on making deductions about the present or future. Okay, so, okay, someone is deleting my my document. Let me go to another document. I think I've got one here. If not, I'm gonna have to use one of yours. Let me go to one of yours. Yeah, let's use this one. Yeah, so as I was saying, let me go back. The modal verb we choose shows how certain we are about the possibility. Okay, so that is the reason why we are going to use a certain modal verb, okay, to show how certain we are about a possibility. It could be in the present or in the future, right? So again, we are showing degrees of possibility. You know that about modal verbs. And we are also showing how certain we are about a situation. So here it says that we use the available information, all right? But yeah, I would say that we use models of deduction based on how much evidence we have about a certain situation, right? So it's truly based on evidence. So for example, when I say I can't see people queuing to get in, it's because I'm there. So my evidence is there. I'm actually seeing the people there. So it is quite certain because I have the evidence in front of me. So when you use can, you are mostly certain. Then in the second example, I've lost my keys. They might be at work or they could be in the car. So when I use might, it's because I'm not very certain. I have a very low chance of certainty, right? So it's on the bottom. They might be at work, I'm not sure, or they could be in the car. Maybe I'm a little more certain about that. And finally, we have can't. So you can't be bored already. You've only been here for 5 minutes. So you can't be born already is like there's no chance. There is no possibility for you to be born already. Right? So each of them show a certain degree of possibility. Which one you are going to choose in order to express your idea, it depends on how certain you are about a situation. So it depends on you, basically. That's why we need to learn how to use these modal verbs, because otherwise it is impossible to decide, right? So I truly recommend having a look at them very closely, so when you are speaking, it becomes easier for you to choose from one or the other. And yeah, now let's have a look at the modal verb must. So we use must when we feel sure that something is true or it's the only realistic possibility. So it's like we have a lot of evidence. That's why we are using must. So it's like the king of all of the modal verbs when we are certain. So let's see some examples. This must be her house. I can't see her in the garage. All right, so I am seeing a person in the garage, so I think that this is her house. So this must be her house. I have the evidence in front of me. Again, I'm seeing the evidence, so it's quite obvious. Also, yeah, it's like I am very certain because I have a lot of evidence about it, right? So that's why I'm using must. Second example, he must live near here because he always walks to work. All right, so again, I am very certain about it, right? So what is my evidence? I always see him walking to work, so that's my evidence. I've seen it. I'm pretty sure. And finally, we have come inside and get warm. You must be freezing out there. So when I look out there, I know it's very cold. It's winter probably. So that's my evidence. And I'm very certain that the other person is freezing. So that's why I'm inviting them over. All right. So for using must, you have to have some evidence. Usually you see them or you know the evidence because it has happened before, so it's not something new, right? So remember that when you want to use must, you have to be, or you must be, very certain, all right? That's the deal with must. It depends on how much evidence you have about something. Isn't needed to use in the house. Let me check. Which one? The first example. All right. Maybe in the previous one or this one. Are you referring to this one, Marcelo?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
This one, but
All right.
this
Yeah.
must be in her house. Isn't necessary to use in.
Oh, no. Because we are not talking about being inside one's house. We are talking about the possibility of that house belonging to someone. So this must be her house means,
Okay.
yeah. We are talking about the possibility that this is their house. So yeah, or her house in this case. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So this in Spanish would be something like, esta debe ser su casa. Yeah. So yeah, in Spanish, we don't have the different modal verbs. That's why it's a little tricky to realize when to use them. I would translate must into debe de. Yeah, but it depends on how you speak, on your different ways of speaking Spanish. So yeah, this is just my approximation. Then we have another one. Could you specify the percentage of possibility? Yes, I'm going to do that in a minute. Yeah, so that's must, like it's on the top. When you are very certain, you have a lot of evidence. Then we have might, may, and could. And here we have that we use might, may, or could to say that we think something is possible, but we're not sure. We're not sure about it. So that would be the difference between may, might, could, and must. Must is when you have a lot of evidence, you're pretty sure. Then all the rest. So let's see the examples. She's not here yet. She might be stuck in traffic. She's not, or he's not answering. He could be in class. Or we regret to inform you that some services may be delayed due to the bad weather. All right, so it depends on how certain you are. She's not here yet. She might be stuck in traffic. I'm not so sure, but I guess that's the one chance. Why? Because I know that at this time there's a lot of traffic in the city, and I know that she is far away, so yeah, she might be stuck in traffic. I have some evidence, but I'm not really sure. Then he's not answering. He could be in class. Then again, I have no idea. I know he's a student. I know that at this time there are some classes, but really I have no more evidence. So it's like I couldn't be sure. That's like a theory I have. And finally, we regret to inform you that some services may be delayed due to the bad weather. So again, I'm not sure. I know there is bad weather. I know that that affects the services, but I'm not pretty sure if they are going to be delayed. It's a possibility again, but it's not certain, right? So that would be something very important to keep in mind. Now, as some people were asking me to do, I am going to tell you the degrees of possibilities. I think we did this last class, but it is very important to remind us always, okay? So at the top of it, we have must. When I'm pretty sure, it's must. I have a lot of evidence. I know this is how it works. Then when I have some evidence, but not that much, I would go for the other three. So I'm going to use could first, then may, and finally might. All right, so all of them are quite in the middle. All right, could is like when you are not so insecure about what you're saying. May is like when you're 50-50, and might is when you are the least confident about it. All right, so yeah, if you're not pretty sure about something, you have to use might. It might rain tomorrow. I really have no idea. It's not even cloudy. But I guess, I mean, it's the winter is coming, so probably it will, right? So it depends, again, on how uncertain you are about something. That's why I put them all in the middle, but yeah, they are also divided into degrees of possibilities. Although you have to remember with none of them, you are certain. You are only certain when you are using must. But might is the least certain you can be. Right, so yeah, that's also something important to keep in mind. And apart from that, we have can't. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. They all have the same meaning, pretty much the same meaning, but may is more formal than might and could. Yeah, so may sounds a little more formal, especially when you are using it for requests. But with possibility, there is some kind of separation between those three. And finally, we have can't. And we use can't when we feel sure that something is not possible. All right, so we are using can't for impossible situations. So it can't be far now. We've been driving for hours, or she can't know about the complaint. She's promoted him to team leader, or it can't be easy for him looking after 3 kids on his own. So again, it can't be far now. We've been driving for hours, so I know that we have come a long way. So our destiny should be near because we have been on the road for a long time. Right, so I have some evidence that our destiny can't be far. Then she can't know about the complaint. She's promoted him to team leader. All right, so I have the evidence that this person was promoted. So it's pretty obvious for me that she can't know about the complaint, that she doesn't know anything about the negative situations about this person. Finally, it can't be easy for him looking after 3 kids on his own. All right, so again, I know that the situation is that we have a person looking after 3 kids. I know that looking after 3 kids, it's a lot of work. So my opinion, my deduction is that the situation can't be easy for this person, right? So it depends again on how much evidence you have about something. So last time I had written can't also with must to mean that you can be very certain about something, but in a negative form, right? So again, you are using can't when you have a lot of evidence, but you are pretty sure that something is not possible. All right, so it could be like using must for affirmative and using can't for negative situations. That's it. All right, so yeah, that's what we need to know about modal verbs. I know that they could be confusing sometimes for us Spanish speakers, especially because we don't have so many modal verbs of possibility in Spanish, but yeah, this is an approximation that we need to take in order to be sure to be using the correct modal verb when we are speaking about possibility. Yeah, and remember, again, this is related to the present, all right? It is not related to the past, not yet. So let me ask you now if you have any questions or comments here, or maybe we can move on to the past. Let me know.
Val?
Yeah, Marcelo, tell me.
Must could have another use. I mean, I have a co-worker or a partner at my work who usually use the expression "it's a must" when he thinks something needs to be especially focused or has a kind of priority. It's a must.
Yep. So yeah, it can have different meanings. For example, meanings, sorry. For example, I could tell you, you must eat pique macho, for example, if you move to Cochabamba. So when I'm using must here, I'm not talking about deduction. I'm not talking about possibility. I am talking about an obligation. All right, so yeah, that's also the deal with modal verbs. Depending on the context that you are using them, they have different meanings. All right, so yeah, in this case, for example, it's a must. It's also talking about obligation, not deduction, not possibility. When I say, guys, we need to complete the exercises about modals of deduction, it's a must. I mean that you have to do it. There's no other chance, right? So yeah, in that case, we are talking about obligation, and it's usually a strong obligation. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And again, it's not a suggestion also, it's an obligation. They also have expressions like it's must board, must buy, stuff like that, to mention that something that you need to buy, need to carry, need to wear, etc. So yeah, it's a must. It's a very common expression for when they want to make a strong suggestion, if you wish. So that's a good question, Marcelo. Thank you for asking that because, yeah, as we have studied in some previous courses, all modals have different meanings depending on how you use them. All right, so yeah, for example, we have the modal verb would, which depends if you use it with a time expression for the past, can mean used to. So it always depends on the context. So yeah, we need to keep that in mind, especially because now here we are talking about only models of deduction when you can infer some information from some evidence that you have. Okay, so it's specific for that, not for all of the uses of the modal verbs. Good. Do we have any other comments or question here? Alrighty. So I think we can move on to the past. Last class and probably this class, I told you that it is important to review the present because I know this is not new for you. We have studied this before, but we need to keep an eye on them in order to move on to the past because the past is a little bit more difficult. Let me show you how it could be a little bit more difficult. How about negative deductions? Well, negative deductions, we have counts. So when something is not possible. If you make it negative, it's the same. So we keep the same degree of possibility. For example, you must not be serious, meaning that I don't believe what you're saying, or you can't be serious again, meaning that it's impossible for me to believe that you are serious. Could, it's not to be used in the negative form. So, for example, he's not answering, he couldn't be in class. That's confusing. So yeah, again, thank you, Molly, for that question, because this is an important thing to remember. Could is not to be used in the negative form because it changes the meaning. Let me mark it. Of course, this is only true for when you are talking about degrees of possibility in deduction. All right, so because you can use could for other meanings. Couldn't, sorry, could in the negative form. You can use it for other meanings, but not for deduction. Okay, so yeah, it's a good thing to keep in mind. Then you may not be delayed. No, it doesn't work either. He might not be near. Yeah, it may be. May and might could work in the past, in the negative form. You only need to be very careful about what you're saying. I would recommend that if you want to use the negative form, go for can't, because it's less confusing. But may and might could be used in the negative form. Could is the only one that is not to be used. And to be used in the negative form. Right, so again, I'm talking only about could. So yeah, don't think that all of them cannot be used in the negative form. And yeah, that's a good question, and I had forgotten to mention it, so yeah, thank you, Molly, for that. Let me see what else we have. Yeah, good. Yeah, we only have the problem with couldn't because when you say couldn't, for example, I couldn't be home, it specifically tells me that we are talking about the past, like an impossible situation in the past. So that's why we couldn't use couldn't in the negative form for deduction. All right, yeah, so now we are ready to move on to the past. And yeah, let's see some examples. Let's do the same that we did last class. And we have the following things. An earthquake that must have been terrifying. That must have been terrifying. That's where we are using the modal verbs, as you can see. Then we have, we don't know for sure that Alex broke the coffee table. It might have been the dog. Again, it might have been. It might have been. It might have been. And finally, how did she fail the exam? She can't have studied very much. Can't have studied. Right? So that's how you're going to use these modal verbs in the past. Let's have a look at the grammar explanation. We can use modal verbs of deduction, like guessing if something is true using the available information. The modal verb we choose shows how certain we are about the possibility. All right, so again, you can see that this hasn't changed. It's the same. So again, we are talking about possibility. Again, we are talking about evidence. That hasn't changed. All right, so that it must be kept in mind. The possibility remains the same. What changes is the form, the structure. Right, so let's have a look at must have first. Let's use the same colors we use with the other one. So must have. We use must have plus the participle form of the verb when we feel sure about what happened in the past, of course. Okay, so the rule is the same, as you can see. So we are going to use must have when we have a lot of evidence. So must have remains at the top. Let me write it so we can remember that whether it is must or must have is the same. It is at the top. So must have. And let's see some examples. Oops. Let me mark the examples. So who told the newspapers about the Prime Minister's plan? It must have been someone close to him. It must have been. Right, so this is my guess. This is what I think happened. And I say this because I have a lot of evidence. It has happened before, probably. So I know that the Prime Minister is very reserved. So in order for information about him going on the newspapers, something very close to him, someone, sorry, very close to him must have given out the information, right? So I have a lot of evidence for that. It seems very obvious for me. Then the thief must have had a key. The door was locked and nothing was broken. So must have a key. Must have had a key. Again, we are using must, have, and the past participle form, the participle form. So again, I have the evidence. I saw the door, it wasn't broken, so he must have had a key. It's what I can infer from the evidence that I have. And then we have, oh God, we've got milk. Mo must have bought some yesterday. Must have bought something yesterday. All right, so again, I saw the milk. I know that we have more milk. And I only live with Mo, for example, so I know that for that milk to have appeared in my house, it's because Mo must have bought it. It's like the evidence that I have. All right, so again, we are talking about evidence. You have to have a lot of evidence in order to use must have and the participle form. Again, this is only to be used in the past. I am talking about things that happened in the past, and now with the information that I have, I am trying to give an explanation to this situation. So this is what must have happened, right? So yeah, that's important to consider, only to talk about the past. I must have been in love. Oh yeah, it must have been in love. Yeah, I love this song. It's a very good example. And it's good to mention songs because sometimes we don't know how they work or we don't know how to apply new vocabulary. And when you see them in songs, it's easier to remember how they go. And also, it is easier to have the structure clear in mind. So yeah, it's a very good suggestion. And also you can see that this the song is talking about a relationship that has already been broken, but now in the present, looking back to the past, we can infer that everything that was happening in that relationship must have been love, right? So now in the present, we can deduct some information about it. So it's the same situation. So yeah, very good example. So if you haven't heard it, give it a listen, because yeah, it's a very good example of this situation. Then we have this one, which is related to might have or might have, might have. So we can use might have or may have plus the past participle form when we think it's possible that something happened in the past. We are not sure, we don't have a lot of evidence, but it is possible that something happened. So again, let's see 2 examples. Let's have a look at this. I think I might have left the air conditioning on. So I might have left the air conditioning on. Please, can you check? So I'm not sure. I don't remember if I turned on, sorry, if I turned off the air conditioning. So I might have left it on. I'm not sure. Can you check? So I don't have evidence, but I kind of have the doubt, so I need to check. Second example, police think the suspect might have left the country using a fake passport. May have left the country. Again, they are not sure, they have no evidence, but that is what they can infer, because we have a criminal that ran away from the country. He was being looking for, but he still left the country. So their alternative or their theory is that he might have left without a real passport. All right, so again, not much evidence, but a theory. Then may have is more formal, and also it's a little bit more possible than might have. So as you can see, we don't have could have, because it is not so much commonly used. It is possible to use it. He could have done it, but it changes a little bit the meaning. So we are not going to focus on could have, but may have and might have, it's on our route. And finally, we have can't have, or couldn't have. So it's the opposite of the previous one. All right, so in the previous one, in the present, we have could with this group. May, might, could. But in the past, we don't have it in this group. We have it here in the negative one. All right, so we use can't have and couldn't have plus a past participle when we think that it is not possible that something has happened in the past. All right, so we are going to use it only in the past form. So can't have or couldn't have. Let's have a look at the examples, and we have that she can't have driven here, her keys are still here. All right, so she can't have driven here. And what is my evidence? Her car keys are still here. So I can see the car keys, so I know that she can't have driven, because how could she drive without the car keys? So it is impossible. I have the evidence. Then I thought I saw Adnan this morning, but it couldn't have been him. He's in Greece this week. It couldn't have been him. So again, I have some evidence. What is my evidence? I know that this person left the country. So it is impossible that I saw him here in the city, because he's not here. He's in another country. That's my evidence. So with must have, can't have, and couldn't have, you need a lot of evidence in order to use them. May have and might have, there's no it's not necessary for you to have a lot of evidence. you can just use it with some freedom because you are not showing that you're sure about it. It's just a theory, if you wish. Right? So yeah, that's how you have to use it. The modal verb plus have plus the participle form. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we have. Do we have questions about the past modal verbs? Any comments? Anything that's not clear? All right, so it's not so difficult to use these modal verbs. Either it is present or past. Yeah, it's not so difficult. The only thing that it makes it a little difficult is to remember which ones they are used for those situations where you are very certain and which ones are used when you are not very certain. So yeah, that's like the difficult part. You have to remember exactly which modal verb you need to use. But it's not impossible, of course. And then apart from that, I think that's it. You need to remember the participle form after have, and that's pretty much it. So I think that we are ready to practice. And I'm going to have you practice in Miro like previous times. Let me clear my board. I still have this very messy here. Right, so we have two activities on Miro. We are going to do one first. Let me find it. It's locked. We can use, no, let's go to the other activity that I have planned. I have changed my mind, so forget about Miro for a second. And let me share this. Alrighty. I have found some exercises on a book, and yeah, I have copied them in order to use them with you. So I want to do this first, like the listening exercise. All right, so we are going to focus on this. Let me show you. Let me mark it. This one. All right, so I want you to complete this. So what are we going to do? We are going to listen to some extracts from conversation, and we are going to complete them with may have, might have, must have, couldn't have, or should have, depending on what you hear. What I recommend, because I didn't copy this anywhere, so if you could have a pen and a piece of paper and you can write one and the expression that you hear. So for example, 1 may have, 2 couldn't have, 3 should have, etc. Right? So it depends on how on what you hear. Either in conversation 1 and conversation 2, please. Okay? Then we are going to do another exercise about that. Let me start sharing my sound. Yes, I am showing my sound. Good, and let me go somewhere else. That's not where I want to go. Let me go again. Here. So it's this one.
4.2.
Yep.
Conversation 1.
Where's my milk? It's not here.
I haven't seen it. You must have finished it.
I definitely didn't finish it. I was keeping some for my cereal this morning. You must have used it.
Me? I never take anything from the refrigerator that isn't mine. You might have given it to the cat last night and then forgotten about it.
The cat drinks water, not milk, so I couldn't have given it to the cat. Last night there was half a carton of milk in the refrigerator. My milk.
Well, I don't know what happened to it.
What are you drinking?
Just coffee.
Yes, white coffee. That's where my milk went. Well, you can go to the supermarket and get me some more.
Okay, calm down. I'll go and get you some milk.
Conversation 2. At the traffic circle,
take the second exit.
Why are you taking the third exit? She said the second exit.
I'm sure it's this one. I remember when we came here last time.
According to that sign, this is Sunrise Highway.
Sunrise Highway? Oh no. We must have gone the wrong way.
Of course we've gone the wrong way. We should have taken the second exit at the traffic circle. What's the point of having a GPS if you don't do what it says?
Okay, I may have made a mistake. But if you knew the way to your cousin's house, then we wouldn't have to use the GPS.
Turn around as soon as possible.
Alrighty. Let's listen to the audio one more time so you can check your answers and then we'll discuss them. Let's go.
4.2 Conversation 1.
Where's my milk? It's not here.
I haven't seen it. You must have finished it.
I definitely didn't finish it. I was keeping some for my cereal this morning. You must have used it.
Me? I never take anything from the refrigerator that isn't mine. You might have given it to the cat last night and then forgotten about it.
The cat drinks water, not milk, so I couldn't have given it to the cat. Last night there was half a carton of milk in the refrigerator. My milk.
Well, I don't know what happened to it.
What are you drinking?
Just coffee.
Yes, white coffee. That's where my milk went. Well, you can go to the supermarket and get me some more.
Okay, calm down. I'll go and get you some milk.
Conversation 2.
At the traffic circle, take the second exit.
Why are you taking the third exit? She said the second exit.
I'm sure it's this one. I remember when we came here last time.
According to that sign, this is Sunrise Highway.
Sunrise Highway? Oh no. We must have gone the wrong way.
Of course we've gone the wrong way. We should have taken the second exit at the traffic circle. What's the point of having a GPS if you don't do what it says?
Okay, I may have made a mistake. But if you knew the way to your cousin's house, then we wouldn't have to use the GPS.
Turn around as soon as possible.
Alrighty. So we got it now. Let me clear my board and we can check your answers. So, yep, this one. What is the modal verbs that we are missing in conversation 1, in the first one? Who can help me here?
Must
have.
Must
Must
have.
have. Yes, I totally agree. Must have. So you must have finished it. And then what do we have?
Might have.
Might have. Yes, very good. So you might have given it to the cat last night. And finally, what do we have?
Wouldn't.
Couldn't have. There you go. I couldn't have given it to the cat. The cat doesn't even drink milk, right? So they are having an argument about it. Then in conversation 2, what do we have in the first one?
Must have.
Must have. Yes, must have. So, oh no, we must have gone the wrong way. What about the second one, or number 5?
Should have.
Should have. There you go. Yes. Should have. We should have taken. And what about the last one?
May have.
Right.
May. Yes. Let me make it smaller. So may have. May have. I may have made a mistake. All right, so now we have another modal verb that we didn't have a look at in the previous review, which is should have. Does anybody know what should have mean? So we should have taken the second exit. What is the meaning of that one? Is it possibility or is not possibility?
Not a possibility.
It's not a possibility. So what is it? If it's not a possibility.
because they should have, it's an obligation. They to take the right way is something that they had to do.
There you go. So yeah, it's more related, thank you, Miguel, it's more related to like an obligation. We should have done it and we didn't. So it's more related to a regret. Okay, so keep it in mind. I didn't add it to the list because in the list, I was only talking about possibility. But you can see that there are other options like should have. And this is specifically when I regret something about the past, like I should have called you, I'm sorry, like now I regret it, right? So we only use should have for those times when we regret not doing something, right? So yeah, thank you for that. Also, you can write it, but remember it is a regret, it is not for possibility. Now I want us to complete this one, right? So what are we going to do to realize if this one, for example, could be A, this one could be B, or this one could be C? I'm not writing the correct answers, I'm just saying. So what are the options? You have to do this to write in each of them where they belong. And we have three options. A, it's something very probable or almost certain that something happened or somebody did something. That's A. Then we have B, it is possible that something happened or somebody did something. We have C, it is impossible that something happened or somebody did something. And then we have D, somebody did something wrong. Okay, so we have four options. Now let's realize which one is each of the examples that we have there. So number one, we have, you must have finished it. So which one is that one? A, B, C, or D? Let me see. We have A. Is it A? It's very probable or almost certain that something happened or somebody did something. And my answer is, yeah, it is right. I agree, it's A. So you must have finished it. It's very possible, according to my own opinion, of course, that you must have done something. Okay? It doesn't mean that it's true exactly, but it's, from my point of view, it's obvious. It is very probable. Good. What about number two? You might have given it to the cat last night. So which one is that one? A, B, C, or D? Yeah, we have B. It is possible that something happened or somebody did something. I agree. So you might have done it. Yeah, it is a possibility. It is possible that it happened. Good. Finally, in this conversation, we have, I couldn't have given it to the cat. So which one is that one? A, B, C, or D? Yep, I agree with you guys. C. So it is impossible that something happened or they did something. Yes, good. So it was true what I did previously to give you just the example. So it was ABC. What about 4? Oh no, we must have gone the wrong way. So A, B, C, or D? We must have gone the wrong way. Somebody did something wrong? I don't think so. I agree with Sergio in this one, and with Molly, with Marcelo, yeah, it's A. It is very probable. Very probable that something happened. Yeah. It's not talking about that someone did something wrong. Let's see example 5. We should have taken the second exit at the traffic circle. I'm not very sure it's B. Do we have any other options? D. Yep. In this one, I agree with the rest of the guys because yes, D. somebody did something wrong. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. You should have called me. You should have done your homework. All right, so yeah, it is very obvious that someone did something wrong. So when we use should have, it's because someone did something wrong. Finally, okay, I may have made a mistake. So A, B, C, or D. No options here. It is possible, it is impossible, it is probable. Someone did something wrong. B or D, B, B, B. I may have made a mistake. Yeah, I say that mostly is B because it is possible that something happened or somebody did something, but also it could work like D, like somebody did something wrong, but it's just related to the mistake. So I would go for B on. Yes, B. So it is possible that I've made a mistake. That's it. All right, so why are we completing this exercise? Because we want to make sure that we know how to infer the information that they are giving us. All right, so it is important to understand how people are using these modal verbs. It is not only important to use it yourself, like to know which one to choose, but also it is very important to be able to understand clearly when people use them. All right, so yeah, keep them in mind. And yeah, let me clear everything here. And what we are going to do now, it's move on to mirror. Like this time we are moving to mirror. In the, well, the previous chance, I didn't want to move on to mirror because I changed my mind. I thought like, well, the listening would be a good idea. Now we are going to complete activity 1 on mirror. And I have this one. So it's related, the first 2 images, these ones, are related to the first conversations that we, the first 2 conversations that we heard. And the third one is for you to infer the information. Well, so what must have happened? In the first one, we know more or less what happened, and we know why this lady is angry at this man, because we heard the conversation. And then a similar story with the second one, because we kind of know what happened when they were driving. In the third one, it's not so obvious, oops, because we didn't hear anything, we didn't read anything, but we have an image. So just by looking at the image, we may infer some information about it. We may have known what happened, all right? So please go to Miro with the following link and make sure to complete that. What are you going to do to write your own sentences? Okay, so look at the image, and if you remember, right. My question is, why are they arguing? Because as you can see, all of them are arguing. So let me just clarify my question. Why are, sorry, why are they arguing? What does argue mean? Does anybody know? Just in case.
Discutiendo.
Yes, thank you very much, Chris. Yeah. So why are they arguing? ¿Por qué están discutiendo? Now you have to write your examples here. For example, let me go. This is not to be your answer, but you can try. So why are they arguing? He must have eaten all her food. I don't know. Right? So that's my idea. So what I want you to do is to write your theory there using modals of deduction. All right? So this is my guess, but you have to write your own guess. Then we are going to complete another activity, but first one, first of all, I want you to go and complete this one, please. So let me share the link. Let's go there. And then we are going to complete the second activity. I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this because it's not difficult. You just have to go and write some examples there. Let me move my question. And let me move this. Yeah, so let's go to Miro. Please write down your sentences. What I want you to do is to show me that you can use these ones. Of course, you can use sentences based on the information that you gather from the audio. It's not a problem. But write your sentences in the sticky notes, please. Let me give you some timer for this. Yeah. Time is on. In order to write on the sticky notes, you have to click on the sticky note and start writing. So there's no need to paste another text box. The time is over. Let me just fix this. And let me read. Must be talked. I'm just checking the answers. They might have. Yeah. All right, so if you pay some attention, I'm going to check the others when after the class, but I'm going to check these ones with you. So yeah, we don't say in this one he must have left the frozen door open. It doesn't quite make sense because frozen means congelado, so it doesn't work. Maybe you mean the fridge door open. So if you mean the fridge, that's correct. Fridge. Let me mark it in another color. Oh yeah, fridge. Then we have another example here. It says he must be talked with another woman. He must be talked to another woman. What is the problem with this one? Who can help me here to fix the problem with this sentence? He must be talked with another woman. Why is this incorrect? Does anybody
Have
know?
been talking,
Sorry?
because we can say have been talking.
Yep, there you go. Yeah,
Because
because
instead of the verb to be, it should put the verb to have.
have. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Nicole. And that's right. That's the problem. So you cannot use the verb to be here. The only possible form is the one that I told you. Must or any modal verb plus have plus the participle form. Be is out of the question. It doesn't work. So don't try it at home. It doesn't work. Let me change this because it's incorrect.
Sorry.
Also. Yeah.
And yeah, this is my example. And the correct was is the he must only talk with another woman.
He must have talked.
He must have talked.
Yes.
Have is have in the simple present or past?
In
he
the
must
base
have
form.
talk.
Yeah. In the base form.
Base form, yeah.
Yes. Let me copy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let me copy it and I'm going to write the correct form. Let me use it with another color. No, that's not what I want to do. So instead of be, you need have. He must have talked with another woman. Right, so yeah, that would be the correct form. Yeah, that's a correction. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Let me. Yeah. All right. Then we have he may have about. They may have about food. Why is this incorrect? They may have about food. What is the problem with this one?
Have been discussing or have been arguing.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Nicole. The problem is it doesn't have a verb. It doesn't mean anything. They may have about food. They may have discussed. They may have argued about the food. but it doesn't have a verb, so it's impossible. You need a verb, okay? So again, let me copy it and let me try to correct it. So they may have discussed, I don't know. No, maybe argued is better because yeah, discussion, it could be something that is not a big deal. So they may have argued about food. Like the previous one, have was the problem. Yeah. All right, then we have another one that is incorrect. Let me mark it so we can talk about this one. What about this one? He must have washed all the dishes. Why is this incorrect? This one is a little tricky. Who can spot the mistake? He must have washed all the dishes. Is it incorrect or it is correct?
Must not.
There you go. Thank you, Nicole, again. So if he must have washed all the dishes, that's a good thing. So if you wash all my dishes, I will be happy. I wouldn't be angry because I expect people to wash the dishes. So yeah, it's kind of impossible that they have an argument about a very good thing. So yeah, as Nicole say, we can solve this problem by saying he must have not washed the dishes. And that is a problem. That is something that we could argue about. If you don't wash the dishes, I'll be angry. But if you wash them, I'll be happy. Right? So yeah, careful about it. Then oh yeah, tell me.
Vale, in this example, it's possible to use to say it must haven't washed all dishes.
Nope, it is impossible. You cannot use have in the negative form. Have is always on the base form. What can be negative is the modal verb, but not have. So, yeah, good. That's a good question. But have is always on the base form, not conjugated in the negative form. All right, then we have he might forget to clean the house. What is the problem with this mistake? What is wrong here?
The structure of the sentence. He might have forgotten to clean.
Yes, thank you very much, Sash. And that is true. So he might have forgotten. Yes. You have to use the participle form after the verb. All right, so don't try to use a different one because it won't work. It will be weird. All right, so yeah, try to stay clear about the form of the verb that you need to use. Right, so again, let me try to correct this one. So he might have forgotten. Yeah. The structure is very important. We usually make mistakes related to the structures. Usually it's that the problem. Then we have, he shouldn't have drunk all the coffee of her. Well, now it's been...
And in the last example, you forgot the have. The verb have.
Have I? Oh, there you go. Thank you very much for telling me. Yes, thank you. So he might have forgotten. That's better. He might have forgotten. Thank you very much. Yeah, he shouldn't have drunk all the coffee. He shouldn't have drunk all the coffee. Why is this incorrect? Let me mark it so we know where we are. We're talking about this one. He shouldn't have drunk the coffee. Why is this incorrect?
The past participle of drunk is drunken.
No.
Not quite. No, that's correct.
We said that should is for an obligation. So in this case, we may imagine that he must have drunk the coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee is finished.
Yeah, thank you very much. More than an obligation, in this case, we said that in the past is not obligation, is regret. In this case, it's incorrect because I am asking you, why are they arguing? That's my question. So you cannot tell me that your theory is with shouldn't, because your theory about a situation is not with shouldn't. Your theory has to be with with might, made, could, can. That's a theory. When you use should, you are talking about a regret. So if you use a regret, you are not answering my question. All right. So you need to use another verb here to express possibility and not regret. Because my question is related to possibility. What do you think it's possible that has happened? That's my question. What is your idea about this possibility? When I ask you, why are they arguing? I'm asking you to give me your theories about the possible things that have happened. Should is only for regret. Okay, so careful with those ones. Past regrets, of course. Good. Then we have another one that is incorrect, and I want us to look at it. He must do his homework before reading a magazine. Why is this incorrect?
Again, the structure is not right.
Yeah, so
he
what
must
is
have done his homework.
There you go.
Homework.
Very good. Yes. So he must have done. Remember the structure, guys? Modal verb plus have plus participle. If you don't use the structure, the real structure, you are not talking about a past deduction, right? So it is very important to follow the structure, like to have the formula, modal verb, have, participle form. Without those ingredients, you have nothing, okay? So careful about those things, because only missing one word changes the meaning of your structure, and it makes no sense. All right. And finally, we have one last example that is incorrect, and is this one. He can have cleaned the kitchen. Why is this incorrect? It seems like it's possible to be correct, but what is the problem with this one?
Because can, we have to use in the negative form, can't.
Yes.
And not a positive in this case. So if he didn't do it, he can have cleaned.
There you go. Yes, thank you very much, Sash. Yeah, so if my possibility, what I think is possible that didn't happen in this case, I have to use it in the negative form. I think that it's not possible that he cleaned the kitchen. Now, if you want to use it in the present, because as you can see, this is the present form. If I want to use it in the present, then I have to be very clear about the question that I'm asking. Why are they arguing? He can have cleaned the kitchen. That's a good thing. If he cleaned the kitchen, then I wouldn't be angry. It's a good thing. So be careful again about the type of question that you are receiving. If I'm asking you, what is the problem? Why are they arguing? Why is she angry? Then your answer needs to be about a problem. There must be some kind of problem between these two people. So that's why they are arguing, because you don't argue about positive things. If you did what I wanted you to do, I won't be angry. Okay, so careful about that. The context is important. It's not only about using the structure, but it is also about using it correctly, using it the right way. All right, so yeah, that's it. I like this exercise because I can show you what might have gone wrong with your answers, which is a good thing. In this one, I marked this one because you are missing the article. He must have drunk all the coffee. So yeah, you were missing that word. Then, yeah, I don't think there's another mistake here. So I'm going to keep checking on these ones after the class, and I'm going to review the ones that need some correction. I'm going to send you the link of this mirror board on WhatsApp so you can review the mistakes if you want to review again. And also because next class we are going to complete another activity which is right here. But this is for next class, so don't mess with it right now. Just focus on activity 1. Yeah, so please, I want you to keep paying attention to these kind of things because it is important to remember the structure. There is a real important structure that you need to focus on. Modal verb plus have plus participle form in the past. Okay, so let me go back to this one. Only in the past, right? When you are talking about the present, you are not going to use can, have, okay? It's not necessary. So modal verb plus base form in the present. In the past is modal verb plus have plus participle form, 2 separate structures. I'm going to create a little image for you, and I'm going to send it on WhatsApp so you can have these structures very clear. Maybe you can watch, you can have a look at the image every once in a while. So you can focus on the structure. Without the structure, you are always going to get it wrong. Okay, so first thing, if you're not familiar with the structure, learn the structure. Second thing, learn the meaning of each modal verb, the degree of possibility. Learn that should is for regrets, not for possibility, those kind of things. Third step, learn to use them. Okay, create your own examples, have conversation, write something about models of deduction, use them in your daily life. Okay, so again, little steps. You have to decide where you are. Probably there are some people here that got it right already. They know the structure, they know what they mean, so now they need to use them. So you have to decide where you are, which is your phase here. If this is new information for you, then start from the beginning, but repeat the formula again and again until it becomes natural. Without the formula, you are never going to get it right, okay? So please, oh please, pay attention to that. Yeah, now I want you to listen to a conversation. We are going to focus on the weak form of have. What does weak mean? Does anybody know what weak means actually? Weak?
Débil.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's débil. La forma débil del verbo have. What do I mean by this? In English, we never pronounce the modal verbs in a strong way. As you might have noticed, I never say she might have done. No, she might have done. She may have done. You must have noticed, right? So it's always a very short sound. We are going to listen to some conversations, and we are going to notice the weak form of the verb have, okay? Let me go to get let me first make sure that I'm sharing my sound. Yes, I am. And then let me go and get the audio. Where is it? Here.
4.6. 1,
You must have finished it.
2,
You might have given it to the cat last night.
3,
I couldn't have given it to the cat.
4,
Oh no, we must have gone the wrong way.
5,
We should have taken the second exit at the traffic circle.
6,
Okay, I may have made a mistake.
Good. All right. So as you could have noticed in the audio, we don't say you must have finished it. We never speak like that in English. So when you listen to people speaking, don't expect them to mention all of the words separately. They don't speak like that. They speak very fast. They link sounds together. They conglomerate all the sounds, and they make sometimes a sound become very short, right? I'm not telling you that you should speak like that. Of course, it's your decision to make. If you want to pronounce every word separated, that's fine. It's your call. You are still going to be speaking English, and people are still going to understand you. They may notice that you that English is not your first language, for example, but that's not a problem really. Pronunciation is just a style you choose, okay? So I'm not telling you to speak like that. If you don't want to, you can do it in your own pace, in your own way. It's your decision. What I'm telling you here is that when you speak to people, they are going to be making this kind of sounds very short. So you have to be trained to understand what people are saying. Okay, that's why we are reviewing this one. So in conversation 1, we have you must have finished it. All right, so again, if I should write it, I would write it like this: must have. Must have. Personally, I also say must have. You must have been very late to the meeting because you left here on time. Yeah, you must have done it. You shouldn't have called me. So I personally use it because it's easier for me. If you don't want to speak like that, that's perfect. If you want to say them separated, perfectly correct. But you must be trained to understand where people say must have instead of just saying must. Okay, you must have finished it. Okay, so conglomerate the sounds together. Must have, must have. Again, in the second one, what did I say? You might have. Might have. So again, they join the sounds together and they say might have, might have. In American English, they would say like might have, might have. Yeah, it's the same. Might have given it, might have given it. So again, if you pay attention to the first sentence, we actually put all the sounds together. We link every word. You must have finished it. Finished it. All right. So again, these two sounds go together. You must have finished it. If it's one word, as if it were one word, you must have finished it. Right? So that's why sometimes we tend to think that native speakers speak too fast. It's not really, not in all of the cases that they speak fast. It is that they join the sounds together. So instead of hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, you hear like 3. You must have finished it. Okay. In reality, you have 5 words. You must have finished it. In the way we speak, we say you must have finished it. 3 words. You must have finished it. All right. So that's why sometimes we tend to think that native speakers speak too fast, but sometimes they don't. It's just about linking words. So again, you might have given it to the cat. So again, given it, it's only one word. You hear it like one word. You might have given it. 5 words. You might have given it. Given it. All right, so 3 sounds. What did we have next? I couldn't, she said. Okay, I couldn't have. So everything together. Of course, in real life, we don't write it like this. So don't think this is correct written. I'm just talking about the sounds. I couldn't have given it to the cat. I couldn't have given it to the cat. Again, I couldn't have given it. 5 words become 3 sounds. I couldn't have. I couldn't have. I couldn't have given it. I couldn't have given it. All right. So everything becomes linked together. All right, again, I'm not telling you to speak like this. I'm telling you that you should be trained to understand when people speak. The same happens with number 4. What do we have? Must have. Oops. Must have. So we must have gone. We must have gone. 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 Same idea. Must have. Must have. Finally, we have a shouldn't have or should have. Should have. It was positive. This becomes should have. Should have. Should have. The D becomes like an R. Yes, should have. Should have. Should have. It's kind of a difficult sound. So we should have taken. We should have taken. Should have. Okay, again. Should have taken. Should have taken. Should have taken. Should have taken. 2 sounds. This is kind of a complicated one. The other ones are easier to make, but yeah, number 5 is quite tricky. Finally, we have may have. May have. We don't write it like that in real life, so don't copy my examples for writing. I'm just copying it the way it sounds, okay? But it's not correct to write it like this. Again, may have, may have, may have. So we never say may have, we say may have, may have, may have made, may have drank, all right? May have drunk, sorry. So yeah, this is related to the sounds, okay? When we hear more conversations, we are going to hear something else next class. You need to be sure that they are using have in their speech, even though sometimes we cannot hear them, okay? Yeah, let me read the chat very quickly. Must not have or must have not. The first one, must not have. She must not have done it. Must not have. It's the same question that Marcelo asked previously, and have, it's always on the base form. Have cannot be negative. Okay, so the negative form goes always with the modal verb. Okay, that's a lot to be said about this. Next class, we are going to do some listening and we are going to do some reading. Okay, so be sure that you have a lot of energy for the class because we're going to be working a lot. Yeah, that's been all for today. Thank you very much for coming. If you have extra questions, stay with me as always. Otherwise, you may leave and I'll see you next class.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Valeria.
you, Val. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Val.
Bye,
Good
guys.
evening.
Goodbye.
Thank you.